So here's what went down on Sportcenter. And honestly, they didn't hold back on the Raiders. The main point they kept circling back to was simple. You can't win football games if you can't do the basics. And right now, the Raiders aren't even checking off the fundamentals. And when they said basics, they meant the #1 job of any offense. Keep your quarterback upright. If you don't protect the guy under center, everything else falls apart. That was the starting point of the entire segment. They went into the numbers, and it's ugly. Right now, Geno Smith is on pace to be sacked 68 times this season. 68. Just let that sink in. That's nearly historic levels of punishment for a quarterback. Against Washington alone last Sunday, he went down 5 times. That's not just bad, that's catastrophic. And when you see those kinds of stats, it tells you right away that something is completely broken in the trenches. By the way, if you're enjoying these Raiders breakdowns, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's my dream to reach 1,000 subscribers, and every single one of you helps get me closer to that goal. Now, credit where it's due. They actually highlighted Ryan McFadden's breakdown, and it really painted the picture. Colton Miller has been serviceable. He's holding his own, but compared to the rest of that line, he almost looks elite, because once you get beyond him, it's been a disaster. Dylan Parham has struggled, Jordan Meredith has struggled, DJ Glaze hasn't lived up to the expectations at tackle, and then, of course, you've got Jackson Powers-Johnson, who looked like one of their most promising linemen before the concussion knocked him out. And even though he's healthy now, he still hasn't seen the field, which just adds another layer of confusion. But what really hit home was when they showed the numbers for Ashton Jeanty. And man, it's brutal. He's being hit at or behind the line of scrimmage on more than half, 57%, of his rushing attempts. That means before the kid even has a chance to make a move, before he even reaches the line, he's already surrounded by defenders. They even showed a clip that went viral. Jeanty taking a handoff and immediately running into a wall of crimson jerseys. It doesn't matter how talented you are, if that's your reality, there's no way you're producing consistent yardage. And here's the craziest stat of all. Jeanty actually has more yards after contact than total rushing yards this season. Think about that. He's at 146 yards after contact versus just 144 total. That means every single yard he's gained has been a fight, literally dragging defenders with him. That's not sustainable. That's not how you build an effective offense. So the question naturally became, how did we get here? How did a line that showed at least some promise at the end of last year turn into this? And Sportcenter pointed to the switch Pete Carroll made when he got to town. Last season, Powers-Johnson at center and Meredith at guard worked. It wasn't perfect, but by the end of the year, they had something functional. This year, Carroll flips them. Meredith at center, JPJ at guard, and from day one, it hasn't worked. Then, JPJ gets hurt, misses games, and when he's healthy again, Carroll still doesn't put him back in. After the Commanders game, Carroll even admitted he probably should have gone back to JPJ, but he wanted to ease him in, and that's where the skepticism creeps in. Because when you've got one of your most promising young linemen sitting on the bench, while your quarterback is getting crushed week after week, fans and analysts are going to ask questions. They're going to wonder why. And right now, it feels like Carroll's decisions have only magnified a problem that was already there. They even touched on the coaching dynamic with Brendan Carroll, Pete's son, now running the offensive line. And let's be honest, when you've got that last name and that role, people are going to throw around the nepotism word. They showed the history. 6 jobs, most of them tied directly to his dad, with mixed results in Seattle. And what was one of the biggest criticisms during the Russell Wilson years in Seattle? Poor offensive line play. So now, with the Raiders looking like one of the worst O-lines in football, the microscope is only zooming in tighter. But at the end of the day, and this is what I liked about how they closed it, Sportcenter didn't pin it all on coaching. They said coaching matters, sure, but players have to take responsibility too. At some point, the 5 guys up front have to play better, plain and simple. You can only scheme so much. You can only shuffle the lineup so many times. If the guys on the field don't win their matchups, the offense doesn't work. And that was the big takeaway. Right now, the Raiders don't have enough. They just don't. They had all that cap space in the offseason to address this problem, and they didn't. They rolled into 2024 with a line that was bottom tier last year, banking on development and small tweaks instead of real reinforcement. And now we're seeing the result. It's worse than last year, not better. So, yeah, that's how they framed it. The root of the Raiders' struggles isn't hard to spot. It's right there in the trenches. If you can't protect your quarterback and you can't create space for your running game, everything else falls apart. Until they fix the offensive line, nothing else matters. That was the message loud and clear from Sportcenter.